Okay, I know what I'm going to talk about. Here's some advice for you. I was looking at the monitor.
Be
Damn it.
more
Chill.
be more chill and be more just like I'm bigger than you. Look at this. I'm bigger than
Look
you.
at
You know
me.
what I mean?
Here's some advice for all you new real estate photographers out there. When just getting into this field, you're going to see a lot of videos online that aren't necessarily the specific things that you should be learning at that specific time. And I'll give you a quick anecdote. When I was just starting, I charged $150 for photos and I did flash ambient photography and I edited myself. And there's a number of mistakes there. Number one, $150 was not enough money, especially in the market that I was in. I didn't do market research to figure out exactly what I should be charging that is fair market rate. I was like, okay, of course I'll just charge way less and get way more work. Not the key here. When you're cheap, people are scared of you and that they're not going to use you. Second mistake here is that I was shooting flash ambient photography before I mastered the regular art of just standard HDR photography. When you're not good or not where you should be at composition or, speed and efficiency or just photography in general, understanding and mastering your camera settings, for instance, flash ambient photography just adds a whole layer of complexity on there. I love Nathan Cool. I learned a lot from Nathan Cool when just starting out. There were a number of other people that I wish I could remember now, but it's been a number of years. And pretty much all of them were like, hey, here's how you do flash ambient photography. Flash ambient photography is the best, it's the highest quality, so of course you should learn how to do it. I don't agree. I do flash ambient photography a lot of the time. It looks nice, it does. Once you learn how to do it, yes, it is the better, it's the better service to provide, but not for $150. How I structure it now is I have my regular HDR photography that I charge $250 for up to 2,000 square feet. And then if someone wants flash ambient photography for, let's say, a $8 million 5,000 square foot custom house, then I'll be like, hey, I'll do flash ambient photography. Like, this is me talking to the client. Hey, I'll do flash ambient photography. It's a little bit higher quality than the regular HDR that I normally do for houses, but it costs $600 minimum. That's when you should do flash ambient photography, when it actually makes sense for the property that you're shooting. The third mistake here was editing myself. Continuing to touch on the flash ambient is that if you aren't 100% certain that the flash ambient photography that you're doing is the best and you are really good at it, then it's also a waste of time. So when I was starting out doing flash ambient photography, I would do flash ambient HDR blends. And this was all manual because I was editing everything myself. It took me 3 hours per shoot of editing time, not to mention like an hour doing just photos. It was crazy. So you have to figure out exactly what the most efficient method of working is first. Do that, get good at it, then get fancy and start targeting the more profitable things to do. The third mistake here was that I was editing my own photos. My son had just been born. He was like 3 months old at this time or something like that. And I was editing, like I would go to shoots, I'd be gone for an hour and a half, 2 hours doing photos, floor plan, whatever. I'd earn like 250 bucks. And then I'd be editing for, God, I mean, per shoot, probably 3 additional hours. So if I had 3 shoots in a day, I was staying up all night editing all my own photos. My son was crying in the background. He was an especially difficult baby. So if you have things going on that you aren't just free of, like, you just you don't you don't have time to invest in this sort of stuff. There are people overseas that will do this work for 20 bucks and they're happy to do it and they do it more professionally than you can. So don't make the mistake of thinking that to be a professional photographer, you have to edit everything yourself. I do recommend learning how to edit and being familiar with everything in your business so that nothing can take you by surprise. You know, if an editor delivers materials that have a wall that's not quite the right color, you're going to have editing skills to be able to correct the color of that wall. Or maybe the verticals aren't perfect, so you use guided transform on Lightroom Classic in order to fix the images in your quality assurance before you upload to deliver to the clients. Additionally, if a client is ever on a super rush and they're like, hey, I don't really care what the photos look like, I need them edited today, you have to at least have some sort of passable knowledge to edit those quickly, not manually. So you can throw them all into Lightroom Classic or Luminar Neo, do the merge, and then, you know, desaturate the color casts and all that sort of stuff. There's ways to quickly do this rather than spending hours and hours doing manual blends in Photoshop and all that sort of stuff. So when you're a new real estate photographer, when you're researching stuff on YouTube, make sure that what you're learning makes sense for where you are. If you don't have the fundamentals mastered, you're not good at property videos, you don't do social media, reels, that sort of stuff. Like if you're only doing photos and floor plans and aerial photos, make sure that you're doing just something simple like HDR. Once your property videos are fantastic, you start doing more services, earning more money, then you can get really good at flash ambient photography. Whereas now, I don't do flash ambient HDR blends. I do one ambient shot and one, maybe two flash shots, depending on how big the room is. It's just a scaling level of what you need to focus on as your business grows. You can't be doing flash ambient HDR blends or flash ambient photography for $150. You might be passionate about photography and you just love that you can charge any amount of money with a camera, but long-term efficiency, long-term strategy, long-term revenue, you have to make sure that what you're doing makes sense for the amount of money that you're doing it. So when you're just getting into real estate photography, outsource, do HDR, it's totally fine. Get really good at the fundamentals, then experiment. That's all for this video. Just wanted to kind of share a little bit in a more casual setting, hence this extremely uncomfortable situation with my calves falling asleep on my desk. But like I said, that's all for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.